Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 22 July 2021, Thursday night, 9 o'clock, time for a knife sale on the Apostle P channel. And that is exactly what we shall have. Before we get into the meat of the sale, and there is a lot of meat, a little bit of housekeeping. First up, I need you to be familiar with and agreeable to the terms of the sale, which I will post on the screen for you in just a moment. They'll also be reprinted in the description underneath this video. Also in that description, above the terms, you're going to find 3 links to prior videos on this channel. The first is to my primer for buyers video. If you're new to this weekly sales event, you're going to want to watch that. It's a 38-minute expanded explanation of how things work and why on this weekly sales event. The second link is to my FAQs for Consignors video. If you'd like to use this weekly sale to move along some of your collection, that video explains how it all works from the consignor's perspective. And then the third link, as always, is to my rates and services video for the ApostleP Knife Service, the original precision sharpening service for the online knife community. So in the description, important description, you're going to find those 3 links. Then the terms of the sale. Then at the bottom will be the list of tonight's inventory, complete with timestamps to the video and pricing. Number to the left of the slash in the price column is your as shown price. Number to the right, as sharpened by the ApostleP Knife Service. And I will have 6 spots available for next day sharpening tomorrow, Friday the 23rd. So if you're one of the first 6 to purchase a knife to be sharpened, it will ship tomorrow, along with all the as shown inventory. If you're outside that first 6 and you want your knife sharpened, expect it to ship in 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's about it for my rambling. Let's get the terms up on the screen. We'll be right back with the sale inventory. Here are the terms. All right, let's get to it, shall we? First up, we've got 2 leftovers from last week, and both of them, frankly, are a little shocking. First up, from Kershaw, kind of a piece of Kershaw history right here. Notice the finely crafted leather sheath that looks like it has never even been on a belt. Inside the sheath comes this work of art. This is the Kershaw 1050 Folding Field. This from the 1999 to 2008 vintage of this classic Kershaw hunting or field knife. Notice it has a brass frame, and then it's scaled in phenolic resin, very similar to the buck fixed blade knives like the 119 and 120. Beautifully made, and notice this knife has rarely been carried or used, but it's got a gorgeous patina on that brass. Inside that finger groove handle, which is excellent by the way, resides this drop point blade, which has my greasy fingerprints all over it. We'll wipe it real quick. Blade steel is going to be AUS 8A. Notice made in Japan. Blade length is 3.5. Handle length 4 13/16. Rock solid lockup. Beautiful smooth action. Centering is close. I think it favors the right side slightly. We'll call this one near mint in sheath, no box. Research on eBay indicates these knives selling between $99 and $229 depending on condition. We sold one a couple months ago for $135, just about like this. We ran this for $135 last week, dropped it to $110 on Saturday. My consignor is firm at that price, guys, and this is a buy. I mean, it's a rarely carried, probably never used Kershaw folding field. The factory edge is virginal. Just a superb example. So 110, like it is. 130 if you'd like it with an Apostle P edge on it. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Kershaw 1050 folding field knife. Next up, in our second and last leftover from last week, I think you guys were asleep at the switch on this one, but somebody's going to get a deal. This is the Western. No Coleman markings on this one, so probably a pre-Coleman knife. Not sure of the vintage though. It's the W77 boot knife. Please take a close look at that sheath. Beautifully tooled with a basket weave pattern, a retention spring on the front of the sheath, and then that boot clip on the back. Super well made. That knife is never going to shake out of that handle because of that spring. The blade is a double-edged dagger with integral guards, sharpened on both sides, stainless steel unknown, probably something like 420 HC. We got a laminated rosewood handle, beautiful contours. It is very secure in any stabbing type grip. Blade length is 4.5, the handle 4 1/8. It is near mint, no box. Again, this knife, no real evidence of carry or use anywhere on the knife. Just a beauty. These knives long gone in the market. Sold listings on eBay run between $99 and $197. We ran this pristine example last week for $110. No takers. Dropped it to $90 on Saturday. It's still here. Somebody gets to take this one home for $75 today. Shipped, priority mail, all in. $105 if you'd like both edges sharpened by the ApostleP Knife Service, and next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6 tonight. That's the Western W77 boot knife. Next up, here's one I teased you about yesterday in the heads up video. It is from Buck Knives, famous for holding an edge. It is a Buck 110 folding hunter in Damascus steel with brown jig bone scales. And look at that sheath, guys. I'm pretty sure that has not been worn on a belt much, if any. Inside, oh man, what a beauty. Look at that. Nickel silver bolsters. Gorgeous brown jigged bone. I mean, gorgeous. And then there's this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Lock up, almost perfectly rock solid. You can muscle just a slight bit of vertical play in it. Action nice and free. Blade centering on this one, guys, is perfect. Condition, I'm going to say near mint in box, but you could probably call it like new. By the way, year of production on this one, I forgot to look up. But I believe you guys are going to have to look this one up. And it's very hard to see, but because the stamp is in the Damascus pattern. I think it's the 110 downward arrow. So whatever year that makes it. Definitely post 2000 just by the blade grinds. But anyway. Let's see. Pricing on this one. I found sold listings between $263 and $395 for this exact knife. This one can be yours. I think it's a bargain. $225 like it is. $245 with an ApostleP edge. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Buck 110 Damascus. Next up, I told you there was going to be a pretty full complement of folding hunter designs, and we've got a really special one here. This is the Camillus limited edition folding hunter. I do not know the model number. A beautifully made black basket weave leather sheath. Inside is this thing. So, we have a brass frame. Brass pins except the pivot pin, which is steel, very much like a Schrade LB7. This one's serialized number 1068. It is a virtual clone in dimension of a buck 110. 4 7/8 closed with a 3 3/4 inch stainless blade, I think. And look at this, guys. That is a gold eagle etch with a mountain scene behind it. Gorgeous clip point blade. Scales on this one are going to be what appear to be a laminated rosewood product. The tank stamp Camillus limited edition USA. I've got absolutely zero play in this knife. Nice smooth action. Centering is very close to perfect. We're going to call this one near mint, no box, with the basket weave sheath. And your price on this one, I really couldn't find a price reference for this knife, but I think it's a buy. Piece of American knife making history. 50 bucks. 50 like it is. 70 if you'd like it with an Apostle P edge. That's in your inventory as the Camillus limited edition folding hunter. Next up, another great old American folding hunter. This one from Schrade. Again, another leather sheath that looks like it has never been on a belt. Inside comes this. Again, a superb example of the Schrade Uncle Henry LB7. This was, back in the day, the chief competitor to the Buck 110. Some think a little better made knife than the Buck 110 because of the steel pivot pin and the steel rocker pin. A laminated rosewood set of covers or scales on this one. 3 3/4 inch clip point blade in stainless steel. Edge feels like it's never cut anything. The handle 5 inches in length. And other than some, light tarnish or oxidation on the brass, this knife is like new. Action is smooth. Lockup has a little bit of play. I think it's mostly vertical, but it's insignificant. Centering is going to favor the right a little bit. We'll call it near mint, no box, with a pristine leather sheath. And the sad thing about these knives, they're super well made. They were made in America. They never were very expensive, and they still aren't. They are ubiquitous in the market. Now, finding one this nice isn't easy, but how about $25? 25 bucks like it is, 45 sharpened, and next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That is the Schrade Uncle Henry LB7. Next up, oh, we got a little special piece of history here, my friends. We have a velvet case, Queen Steel, number 090. Inside, Queen Cutlery, pattern, 9155, hat pin included. And here's the knife. This is a little curved handle trapper with some absolutely gorgeous jig bone. Main muskrat clip on a half stop, and this is from the Pennsylvania Gun Collectors Association, a commemorative edition. Blade steel, I don't know. I think it's probably D2. And by that etch, these were made in 1998. The Gun Collectors Club, 1948 to 1998. So this would have been during the peak of the Bill Howard era at Queen. Pull weight is going to be about a 6.5, 7. Nice half stop action. No blade play. Blade centering is pretty doggone nice on both blades. I didn't measure this one, but I think it's about 3.5 inches closed. And then there's your etch for your serial number 090. We'll say $100 on this one. 100 like it is. 125. I sharpen both blades. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That is the Queen PAGC Mini Trapper. Next up, got our first combo deal of the night. This will be in your inventory as the Case 61050 SS Coke bottle with Opinel number 8. And here's the feature attraction. This would be a similar pattern to you noobs to the GEC 97 Allegheny. It is a large Coke bottle, 5 3/8 inches of closed length, with a pretty doggone good looking jig bone set of scales, nickel silver bolsters and end caps, one single clip point blade in true sharp stainless steel. Big old nasty looking clip point. No blade play. Nice walk and talk. About a 6.5 is going to be your pull weight. Blade centering, yeah, it blows. It's a case. Condition on this one's going to be near mint, no box. But wait, that's not all. Oh, missing shield, by the way. Glued on. But that's not all. We have an Opie number 8. We sure do. And it looks like there's a little spotting, so I'm guessing this must be a carbon steel blade. Nice clip point. You got your swivel lock. So the number 8 Opie is 4 1/4 inches closed with a 3 1/4 inches blade. It's near mint, no box. So you get both of those, the Coke bottle and the Opie, $75, shipped priority mail, plus 20 each if you'd like me to sharpen them. And I would recommend going convex on the Opinel, by the way. So that's in your inventory as the Case 61050 SS Coke bottle with Opinel number 8. $75, $95, $115. Wait, there's the shield. I will glue that back in. Next up, we got another combo, and this one's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. This is going to be in your inventory as the Schrade Scrimshaw combo. And it's pretty neat stuff. First up, we got an LB7 folding hunter. And this looks like Scrimshaw etched Delrin, I believe. Nickel silver bolsters. Serialized number 4389. But you couldn't sell that new today. Cultural appropriation, or I don't know. So there's that big old blade. A little bit of side play in this one, a little bit of vertical. But apparently an unused knife. Centering, pretty doggone nice. Along with the LB7 folding hunter, you're going to get this Schrade Barlow. Again, it looks to be Scrimshaw etched Delrin. We've got some interesting tooled bolsters on this one. I think this is about 3.5 inches closed. Got a main clip on a cam tang. Nice walk and talk. Secondary pen, also on a cam tang. Nice walk and talk. Centering, it's not very good on the main, pretty good on the secondary. Condition on both of these knives is going to be near mint, no box. And we will not break the bank on this one. Both of them, $60, shipped priority mail, plus 20 for me to sharpen the LB7 and 25 to sharpen the Barlow, both blades. So it's going to say 60, 80, 105 in your inventory. Next day sharpening is available if these are among the first 6 knives purchased to be sharpened tonight. And that is the Schrade Scrimshaw combo. Next up, perhaps the most special knife in the sale tonight. It is quite special. It is quite special. I have the box taken apart, so I'm trying to be careful. This is the case Kodiak Hunter, a superlative sportsman's knife. Now here's the box, and you can date these by tang stamps and the nature of the box. Case made this knife for quite a while. So if you have the 2-piece box with the cardboard insert and the styrofoam, it helps us date the knife. Okay. It's also going to come with this beautiful leather sheath, nicely tooled, case XX as well. And then you get the knife. This is the Kodiak Hunter. That is 5 13/16 inches of stunning Bowie blade with that Kodiak etch. A gorgeous brass crossguard. I mean gorgeous. And look at that hunk of India stag. Some black spacers and a brass pommel, beautifully finished. Just some very light spotting kind of corrosion on the brass. Otherwise this knife would be like new. So how do we date this? The tang stamp puts it between 1967 and 1973. The styrofoam insert in the box probably means later 2 years of that range, so probably 71 to 73. Look at the condition. This has been tucked away its whole life, guys. And these are kind of special. Sold listings on eBay running between 200 and 275 sold transactions. This one can be yours. Shipped priority mail, $195. $195 on the case Kodiak Hunter. $225 if you like my edge on it. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. Next up, I teased you guys about this knife yesterday in the heads up video. I want you to look at the catalog first, okay? Randall made knives, 75th anniversary. Well, before I look at the inside, look at this. They shipped these catalogs with the knives. This knife shipped October of 2012. And then, just so you know, present shipping date. So if you ordered a new Randall knife in October of 2012, expect it to ship March 2017, 4.5 years later. Okay, and so this is a beautiful little catalog, table of contents, some history, lots of info about the knives, and then of course it's a marketing tool. So price list as of June 1st, 2012. Get a nice insert with all the, not all the Randall knives, but many of them suitable for framing. Yeah. And my consignor has kept this literature pristine. Oh, there also is a knife here. So I think this is kind of rare, guys. This is a Randall made Model 14 attack, but it doesn't have the usual handle. Okay, so first let's look at the sheath. And it's been outfitted with some nice paracord accoutrement. So you got your cross strap with a snap. You got your hone stone pouch here. Stone has not ever been used. It comes out easier with the knife out, but it's pristine. And then inside you got this. Check it out, guys. Oh. So here's the Model 14, and the stamp has the S, which means it's Randall stainless. A closely held secret as to what type of stainless that is. A spear point blade, convex ground with a belt sander bevel, non-offset sawback, but the teeth are very sharp. Okay, blade length is 7.5 inches. Now what makes this special, I think, is this handle. So this has the Border Patrol handle, which is a very deeply contoured piece of black linen micarta. Notice it's still a full tang knife that is like a mortise and tenon. On the handle, and then that beautiful brazed on guard, and this one appears to be nickel silver. The handle length on this is 4.5, and it's beautiful in the hand. Most of these come with a finger groove handle. You'll have a hard time finding one with what they call the Border Patrol handle. Okay, and condition on this is pristine. Just a little bit of light oxidation on the nickel silver guard. That would take about 30 seconds and some flits to make it look brand new. You guys saw the waiting period as of 2012 for a new Randall made knife. It's about the same now. 3 to 4 years, I think they run. I think you could buy this knife new for like $450 or $500. And if you ordered it now, you'd maybe, if you're lucky, have one by 2025. Or you can just buy this one. Near mint to like new, with sheath and literature. $650. $650 on the Randall made Model 14. Now, I will sharpen it for 40 bucks if you'd like, and just so you know, this portion of the spine has an edge on it right here. Okay, so that is the Randall made Model 14. Next up, here's a knife I hope one of you guys know about, because I sure don't. Check it out. A rather pedestrian but nicely made black leather sheath. And inside the sheath comes this. This is a, I'm going to call it a fighting Bowie. It is a double hollow ground knife. Ray Knives, Wichita, Kansas. It is a clip point sharpened swedge, or sharpened clip, I guess. Thus the double hollow. Blade length on the Ray Fighting Bowie, 6 7/16 inches. I do not know the steel. It's probably stainless. That appears to be an aluminum guard pinned on, and not a brazed joint. The scales on this knife are, you guessed it, ivory, and I see a scrimshaw of a woolly mammoth. I can't for sure tell you whether these are mammoth or elephant, but they are definitely ivory. Notice the tapered tang. I think those are red spacers. So guys, I don't know. My consignor bought this at the New York Custom Knife Show like 20 years ago. He doesn't remember what he paid for it. I don't know what it's worth, but we're going to try it at $250 like it is. And then I'll sharpen it for 40 both edges. So $290 sharpened. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. So that, oh man, oh, is that good in hand or what? I think you could probably use this as a weapon. That is the Ray Fighting Bowie. What a beauty. We'll just sheath them and snap them up. Next up, this is a pretty cool old knife. Notice the pivot, Coleman Western. So this is a Western knife after Coleman bought the company. It's a folding hunter with FRN handle and 2 blades and 2 locks. How about that, guys? So you got a serrated clip point, stainless steel, don't know what kind, bead blasted, rock solid lockup, and then you've got a drop point. If you keep your thumb off the lock, it has no play. Really nice mechanics. Both blades nicely centered. Looks like they might be off just a little bit. Pretty cool knife. Pretty cool knife. It's the Western 954 double lockback. Blades are 3 5/8 inches long. The handle is 5 inches. Weighs nothing. We'll call this one near mint, no box. Appears to have never been used. Your price? $35, guys. 35 like it is. 55. Yeah, 55. I'll sharpen the plain edge blade. I won't do the serrated one. That's the Coleman Western 954 double lockback. Near mint, no box. Next up, and the last of our vintage folding hunters tonight. This one not made in America. This is the Puma 270 General. 4 15/16 inches closed with a very Puma 3 7/8 inch stainless steel blade. Germany. Interesting non-hafted pins in this knife. And the covers appear to be, they're either a jig Delrin or a molded in texture FRN. You guys might know better than I. Lockup, solid as a bank vault. Action, beautiful and smooth. Blade centering is very close. We'll call this near mint, no box. These knives actually do some money. Sold listings on eBay between $90 and $140. This one can be yours for $75, guys. $75 like it is. $95 with an Apostle P edge. That's the Puma 270 General. Next up, time to jump into the modern world. This is a special one, guys. That is a Benchmade box. Inside it resides a model number 800 SBK-1001 AFCK liner lock, number 14 of 250, limited edition. So the extension number indicates this was the first special edition run of knives in 2010. So year 10, number 01. And here it is, the AFCK with a gorgeous 3D machine G10 handle, a blue titanium inlaid Benchmade butterfly. I think the liners are titanium. I know that the standoffs are. I'm not sure that clip existed in 2010. It does now, but that might have been reserved for limited editions only. And here's something else that's a little special. Oh yeah, there it is. Right behind the opening hole, M390 in 2010. Really? So you got your normal AFCK blade, 3 15/16 inches. What are we going to call that, guys? I don't know. It's kind of like a muskrat clip, saber ground with a swedge, combo edge. There's your lock engagement. Super smooth action. Lock up, rock solid. Blade centering, hard to tell, but it's perfect. Or as close to it as my eye can see. Condition is like new in the box. 11 years old, limited edition Benchmade AFCK, like new in the box. Couldn't find any sold listings for this knife on eBay. I do know that Arizona Custom Knives recently sold one. It was a plain edge version for $335. This one can be yours. Shipped priority mail, $295 like it is, $320 if you like it with an ApostleP edge. That's the Benchmade 800 SBK-1001 AFCK limited edition. Next up, from Sniper Blade Works. From Sniper Blade Works, kind of an early model for them. I believe this is a DMF. Okay, 5 3/16 handle, 3 5/8 inch blade. You have a smooth or satin finished G10 scale over a bead blasted titanium frame lock. Got some trails on the clip. Okay. Inside resides that thing. That is a sort of nightmarish ground recurvy blade in W2 steel with the hamon. They've moved on to modern stainless super steels now at Sniper Blade Works, but this is kind of an early one. Pretty cool, wouldn't you say? There is your lock engagement. It is rock solid. Blade centering is not perfect. Action is sniperish. So kind of like Medfordish, right? Let's see. We'll call it excellent, no box. My consignor bought this new for $650 back in the day. This one can be yours. $225. $225 like it is. $250 with an ApostleP edge. The Sniper Blade Works DMF. Next up. Check this one out, guys. I don't remember the last time I had one of these for sale on Thursday night, but we have a Byrd, and I think it's a Cara, but it's kind of a special Cara because it's got the black coated stainless steel handle. Everything is murdered on this knife. And then you get the three little, or count them, Rob, 4 bird's eye holes in the handle, and then of course you got your 3 7/8 inch partially serrated blade, also black coated, HCR 13 MOV. So yeah, it's kind of like an Endura stainless, or you know. Lock up, rock solid. Action, pretty smooth. Centering is going to favor the right ever so slightly. Condition, we'll call it good to excellent, no box. Can be yours for $25. $25 shipped priority mail. $45 if you like it with an ApostleP edge. That is the Byrd Cara BKSS. Next up, we got our first watch of the evening. It's going to come in a plain white box. Kind of a micro brand diver here. This is the Deep Blue CRAM 500, a quartz Ronda 715 powered micro brand watch. You have a white ceramic bezel insert surrounding an inky black dial. Looks like the indices are going to be embossed or pressed through the dial and then filled with superluminova. Got a lume pip at 12, and then all the white indices on the dial, as well as the minute, hour, and second hands, all with some lume. Got some vertical brushing on the sides of the case, and then as well on the lugs. 120 click unidirectional bezel, pretty decent action, and it probably lines up well if I hit the mark. Because it's 500 meters water resist, you're going to have a screw down case back, a screw down crown, nice oversized crown. It hacks, it hand winds, it has a date at 4:30, it's on rubber. The deep blue signature on the buckle. Let's see, dimensions, 45 diameter, 52 lug to lug, 24 lug width, and it's about 16 high. So a watch with some wrist presence, wouldn't you say? I'll give you a quick little loom shot here. You can buy these, I'm not sure in this coloration, but I think there's a red one on sale right now at Joma Shop for $145. This one can be yours. Very near mint, guys. It's basically, there might be some wrist hair scratches on the back, but that's about it. So very near mint. Your price, $120, $120 on the deep blue CRAM 500. Next up, we have our first Oris of the evening. Again, an outer box, an inner box. The spare links are all in there. And here's the watch. This is kind of interesting, guys. Kind of interesting. This is the Oris BC3 Regulator Diver. Okay. And I forgot to look. Yes, that's correct. 200 meters of water resistance. And the regulator dial means subdial hours, subdial running seconds, and then the only hand that runs around the entire dial is the minute hand. Okay. Sapphire crystal. Dimensions 40 diameter, 48 lug to lug, 20 millimeter lug width, and just 12 millimeters high. It is run in a Salida 27 jewel movement. It has a 60 click unidirectional bezel. Very positive, no back play. Let's see. Here's the bracelet. 5-link affair. Pretty nice drape. Just a pressed clasp with a security bail. And then it does have a dive extension, all pressed. So I don't know, this is probably what, 2010-ish. How's it running? Now my seller, he said it was, you know, it was less than a minute per day. I've had it running for about a day. It's running about minus 30, okay? Just about minus 30, maybe not quite 30. A very cool watch though. Kind of a diver you don't see every day from a great company, Swiss made. I found an old sold listing on eBay for one that wasn't this nice, and this one does have some desk diving scratches in the bracelet, but the watch head's pretty much unmarked. And the one that's sold on eBay had a deeply scratched crystal. How you do that to sapphire, I don't know. But it sold for $400. I think this is a lot nicer watch than that, and you don't see them every day. We'll do on this one $425. $425 on the Oris BC3 Regulator Diver. Oh, the loom's nothing to write home about. Here's a quick shot. Yeah. So $425 on the Oris BC3 Regulator Diver. Next up is another watch from Oris, Swiss-made watches since 1904. One of the very few still independent Swiss watch companies. You got manuals and you got an inner box and all that stuff. Okay. This is the Oris World Timer, and it's not what most people think of when they hear the term world timer. So you're, I guess technically, you would use the subdial for your home time, and then you would use the large full face for your tracking your local time, because it has two pushers on the bottom that advance and retard the hour hand. Okay, and then running seconds here. Then this dial has a day-night indicator at 9 o'clock. So I'd probably use that for my home time, I guess. I don't know. Kind of an interesting case profile, don't you think? So the bezel is lightly brushed on the sides, and it sort of drops down into that mid case, which is polished. Diameter on this one is 39, lug to lug is 48. Lug width is 20, and it's about 11 millimeters thick. It's on a croc grained leather strap with deployant clasp. A little bit of wear on that strap. And you know, it's been worn. It's got some fine scratches in the polished areas. My seller said it was a few minutes slow per day. I have had it running for about 24 hours. It lost 40 seconds overnight. So it probably needs a service. These watches, when they're available, generally sell for like between $400 and $500, but my seller says this one needs a service, so let's do it at $200. And by the way, it is run in the 30 joule Salida movement with the display case back. That is the Oris World Timer. $200 shipped priority mail. Next up, and our last watch tonight, this is from Zemex, which is a strange little Swiss company, I guess. It's got an outer box and an inner box and goodies, right? And here's the watch. It's kind of a tank style watch, Swiss made. We think these run ETA 2824 movements. I don't know if they ever ran any Salidas, but so it's a brushed stainless steel case. And I'm not sure what these inlays are around the dial, but they're interesting. Polished sides, and these lugs or end links do articulate a very slight amount. It's wearing a rubber strap, signed Zemex buckle. So just a time-only three-hander, skeleton hour and minute hands, and then a red seconds hand. 31 millimeters wide, 42 lug to lug, just 9 millimeters thick, and I think this is a 21 millimeter lug to lug, or lug width. Just an inky black dial, all printed indices. I think that's a sapphire glass. Yes, it is. And then there's your display case back. Pretty cool watch. My seller indicated his observed accuracy was within 1 minute per day. It seems like it's a lot more accurate than that, just as it's been running overnight for me. It is, by the way, a limited edition number 140 of 500. And it's called the Zemex Avenue automatic watch. Your price on this one? $250 for the Swiss-made Zema Avenue. $250. Next up, back to the knives, my friends. Back to the knives. There's the box. Inside the box comes the LN-M1WN. Come on, Lionsteel. Come on. Give me a name. I'll give you a name as soon as I turn the page. Oh. I'll give you a name. It's the Lionsteel M1. The Lionsteel M1 in a finely crafted Italian leather sheath. Notice the Chicago screws protruding because it wouldn't ride in the box for shipping with the U-clip installed. So the U-clip mounts to those two holes, and then you slide it down over your pocket and you clip it, and it ain't going nowhere. It's like a cam tensioner for the pocket clip. Very, very cool. That's like a parkerized steel. Inside that sheath resides the little M1 with some gorgeous walnut handle scales. Beautiful little spear point blade in Bowler M390. Blade length is 3, handle length is 3 5/8. You get the lanyard and the titanium bead. It's a beautiful little knife in the hand. It is near mint to like new in box. I'll just say near mint because the belt loop has been pierced to accommodate the Chicago screws for the U-clip. Okay, so MAP pricing, minimum advertised pricing for this is $160 plus $10 for the U-clip, plus I don't know for the bead. So you know my consignor's got $170, $180 in this. It can be yours. $130 shipped priority mail. $155 with an ApostleP edge, and next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Lionsteel M1. Next up, here's a little cutie from MKM. Climb the Edge. That's got to be Chinese, right? Nope, Maniago Knife Makers, Italy. Check this little thing out, guys. It's a little necker or belter or belt looper, and the sheath is rather ingenious. Okay, it's got a magnetic strap and a rare earth magnet on both sides. Pretty doggone strong. Okay, it's ambidextrous. It can go either way, right? You can neck carry it on the included leather thong. There's also a scale removal wrench in the box. You can throw it down in a pocket and then use the magnetic tension on the outside of the pocket. You can wrap it around a belt loop. Pretty neat. And the knife is here. A little sheep's foot affair, a little 2-finger and a thumb knife. It's the Mikro 2 from MKM. 2-inch blade, 2 5/8" handle, natural canvas, blue collar around that affixment screw. Blade steel is M390. Pretty cool little knife. Gorgeous stonewash. Jesper Voxnäs design. $85 is what these are brand new at your favorite web retailer. Or just buy this one like new in the box, shipped priority mail. $70 on the MKM Mikro 2. $90 if you'd like it with an ApostleP edge. We'll just put that back in his little home. See if I did that correctly. Nope, I did it wrong. There, how about that? Next up, we have a giant mouse. A giant mouse. Which one is it, Rob? Well, this is the GMF 3. The giant mouse fixed 3. I want you to look at this piece of work, guys. Handmade in Italy is this sheath. You can belt carry it or you can drop it in a back pocket. It rides equally well either way. And check out the knife. Of course, Giant Mouse, the joint design venture of Jesper Voxnäs and Jens Anso. We have a beautiful N690 blade. Guys, of all the stainless steels on earth, I don't think there's another steel that finishes like N690. Look at that satin. Man. And it's a great user steel as well. 3 1/16 is the blade length. 3 1/2 is your handle length. Kind of an interesting handle design, but it works really well. That's an OD green canvas micarta satin finished. This one's absolutely like new in the box. Web price on these at your favorite retailer is going to be $195, or just buy this one. Like new in the box, shipped priority mail, $165, and then $185 if you'd like it with an Apostle P edge. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Giant Mouse GMF3. Next up, from Hogue Knives, we have one of their models with their unnecessarily complicated modeling system. It's the number 24267 DECA. So this is featuring the Hogue Able lock, which is a patent expired Benchmade axis lock. It says flat dark earth G10 on the box, but it's that sort of Damascus stuff. So there's some tans, some browns, some blacks, some grays. Pretty cool stuff. A reversible tip up pocket clip. It's got the DLC coated Wharncliffe blade, designed by Alan Elishewitz. Blade steel is 20 CV. Blade length 3 3/16. Handle is 4 1/4. Action is completely free swinging. Lockup is rock solid. And the blade centering is right down the middle. Condition on this one is like new in the box. You can buy these online at your favorite web retailer for $149, or just buy this one. Like new in the box, shipped priority mail, $120. 120 like it is, $150 for me to sharpen that 20 CV compound grind. Right? That is the Hogue 24267 DECA Warn. Next up, from Three Rivers Manufacturing, we have the TRM Atlas slip joint, featuring natural canvas micarta scales, a bronze anodized titanium deep carry clip. Handle length on the Atlas is 3 3/8. Inside it resides a 2 1/4 inch blade of S35 VN. Now this is not a spring slip joint, it is a detent slip joint. One at the half, one at the closed, and one at the open. Very secure once open, no side play. Blade centering, pretty beautiful. Very shimmery, fine bead blast with that deeply engraved TRM logo. Very nice in the hand for a short knife. Great little utility blade. It is like new in the box. Discontinued and out of stock. When they were available, they were $136. This one can be yours, shipped priority mail, $110. $110 like it is, $130 with an Apostle P edge. That's the TRM Atlas slip joint. Next up, oh, this is going to be a feeding frenzy. I had one of these a few weeks ago, and I think I was like 5 deep in I'll take it emails before it finally got paid for. It's another one from Three Rivers Manufacturing. It is the Neutron. This one wearing a set of factory carbon fiber scales. I love the Neutron. Why do I love it? You know why I love it? Because I can flip the clip for left-handed carry. Now, this Neutron originally came with a set of green G10 scales. I love the lightning bolts and the atom. Okay? So the carbon fiber scales were $37 extra. So the Neutron is 4 inches in length closed. Handle length is 4 inches. Blade is CPM 20 CV. And the blade length is 3. It is a phosphor bronze riding liner lock. And I believe the liners are titanium. Super smooth. super centered, and super secure. Oh, by the way, pretty doggone nice in the hand as well. The only marks on this knife are some little hairlines from the pivot being manipulated to change the scales, but other than that, it's like new. So we'll call it near mint to like new in box with both sets of scales. These knives, when they were in stock, and they ain't now, they were $189 plus the 37 for the carbon fiber scales. That is $226, what it would have cost new if you bought one. And they're rather sought after. I'm going to sell this one the same price we sold the one a few weeks ago, 220 bucks, 220 like it is, 245 with an ApostleP edge. That's the TRM Neutron CF. Next up, we have a knife from the Czech Republic. Yes, sirree, Bob. It's an ANV knife, which stands for the Latin Acta non verba. Acta non verba. Actions, not words. Inside the box comes the model Z100 liner lock. Z100 liner lock comes with a card congratulating you on your purchase of an Acta non verba knife, signed by the assembler and the inspector. Here's the knife. We got some 3D machine, nicely textured G10 on the handle, a deep carry paper clip. It is a flipper on Teflon. Flips pretty well. The blade is Sleipner steel, beautifully stone washed. Pretty cool swedged kind of drop spear affair. There is a little glow in the dark nub in the flipper, by the way. There's your liner lock engagement. Seems to be quite secure. And the blade centering down the middle. Inexpensive, Czech made, great materials. Let's see, I think if you go on Blade HQ, you can still buy these for 72 bucks. Might have to pay some shipping at that level. Or just buy this one, shipped priority mail, like new in the box. 55 bucks, double nickels. 75 with an ApostleP edge. That's the Acta non verba Z100. Next up, we have another one from ANV Knives. Whoops, I got it backwards. Acta non verba, in Latin, actions, not words. This is the model Z200 DLC coated liner lock. Oh, so I think it's pretty much the same handle as the Z100. There is your in Czech congratulations card. Here it is in English. So we've got a 3D machine G10 handle. Everything's murdered on this one. Deep carry paper clip. And a DLC coated drop point blade. Now inside the opening groove is a little glow in the dark nub. Okay. Blade steel on this one is Bowler N690. Now I've got some sort of funkiness in the DLC here, and I think it's actually adhesive that got wiped from the installation of that little glow-in-the-dark insert. So it's just there. There's your liner lock engagement. It's rock solid. Riding on Teflon washers, nice and smooth, beautifully centered. So the condition is actually like new in the box, but note that little interesting issue in the coating, right? These are 95 bucks at Blade HQ. This one can be yours shipped priority mail. $75 like it is, 95 with an ApostleP edge. That's the Acta non verba Z200. Next up, we've got one from, I think, a brand we've never had for sale on this sale. From Phobos, for operators by operators. This is a Gladstone, Michigan-based knife company, and the knife inside is the Tier 1 Mini With red and black linen micarta handle and white liners. Oh, I actually met, and I can't remember his name. I met the guy that owns Phobos. Doggone it. It's going to drive me crazy. At a Bark River grind-in a few years ago, and he was just getting started. He was in kind of getting some pointers from Mike. And man, he's really off to the races. Now, I just want you to look at this sheath for a minute. That is a 6-way sheath, guys. So you can go vertical, and it's completely ambidextrous. So vertical left or right, cross draw left or right, or scout carry. Either way. So 6 ways to carry this knife, and it feels like there is a little rare earth magnet for retention in the base of the sheath. Guys, that's some money right there. Note the red stitching to match the red and black lanyard. Very nice work. Here's the knife, the Tier 1 Mini. CPM 154 steel, acid stonewash finished. 3 15/16 is your blade length. A very complex swedge, I want you to note. Great jimping for a long run. And there is your 3D machine set of red and black linen micarta handle scales with your white liners. Super cool, size efficient knife. As I said, the handle is 3 15/16. The blade is 3 15/16. The handle is 4 3/4. Super well made in Michigan. How are you going to beat that? So my seller paid $280 for this knife from a web retailer. I think they're actually a little cheaper than that now, maybe under $250. But this one can be yours like new in the box with all of its complements. $215, $215 like it is, $235 if you'd like it with an Apostle P edge on it. That's the Phobos Tier 1 Mini. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. Next up, oh guys, don't wait on this one. I don't know how much longer this knife's going to be around, especially made where it's made. This is the Cold Steel SRK. This particular one in Sanmai VG10, so laminated VG10 steel, and everything starts or ends with an X. The sheath, Secure X, and it is ambidextrous with the removable, repositionable nylon dangle. Very secure snap. Great friction retention. There is your SRK. Notice the line of demarcation between the cladding and the center core steel. It's right above my thumb. Beautiful satin finish, bidirectional. Golly, they do a great job. Blade length on the SRK is 6 inches. The Cray X handle, Cray X, not Cray-Time, Cray X, is 4 3/4 inches long. It's just the quintessential functional field knife from Cold Steel. All right. It is like new in the box. Web pricing on these at your favorite retailer is going to be about $144, or just buy this one like new in the box with all the goodies. $115, $115 like it is, $145 sharpened. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Cold Steel SRK Sanmai. Okay, guys, to finish the sale, we've got 3 donated knives to benefit the Oz Fettinger Leukemia Fund. I won't go into a long explanation of that. We've been doing it for a while. You guys know what that's about. First up, from Wee Knife. We got a kind of a special Wee Knife, guys. It's the 904C Jix, the special Knife Rights Edition. And there it is. That's beautiful. Mikhail Williamson designed this knife. It is a titanium bolster lock with a black wash, so a DLC tumbled on the titanium. Then some nice 3D machine satin finished G10 scales. Of course, it's a ball bearing flipper. The bolster lock with steel insert. Check out that blade. a super deep etch. I believe it's just an etch on an acid stone washed blade, M390. 3.5 inches is your blade, and it's got kind of a nightmare grind, but the edge is consistent, right? So it's hollow here and flat here, and then you can see a little line of demarcation between the grinds. So just a very nicely styled blade. Handle length is 4 5/8. There is your lock engagement. It's hard to see because it's all black, but it's there. Rock solid. Everything's perfect. It's just like it ought to be. Titanium clip. So yeah, the special Knife Rights edition. I don't know if I showed you that. There's the Williamson Maker's Mark, and there's your Knife Rights logo. A sharper future. Cool. Like new in the box. They're discontinued, out of stock. When they were around, they were $236. This one can be yours. Shipped priority mail, $195. $195 like it is. $220 sharpened, next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That's the WE 904C jigs. Next up, these knives make me sad, and you guys who know me know why. This one from Rough Rider Reserve. It's the RRR002 Kayak. It makes me sad because they don't cost anything, and they're very well made, and they're made in China. So yeah, we've got all stainless steel construction, I believe, but with brass liners, but stainless steel bolsters. The shield looks to be nickel silver, however. It's an equal end, opposite end jackknife. I don't know what you call these blade shapes, but that's what they are. Match striker nail nicks. Blade steel is D2. Half stops. And you can't really see, but I think there are phosphor bronze washers in these knives. Unbelievably smooth. And they don't use a kick for an internal stop. They use an... Oh, actually, this one does. I've got another one coming up that uses an internal stop pin, but this actually uses a kick. Pull weight is about 7. Walk and talk, really, really nice. And everything lines up perfectly. I'm not sure what color of canvas micarta you'd call that, but that's what it is. Satin finish on the hardware. It's 3 5/8 inches closed. It's like new in the box. You can buy these online at your favorite retailer for $50. This can be yours for $40, shipped priority mail. $65 for me to sharpen both blades. That is the Rough Rider Reserve Kayak. Proceeds go to benefit the Oz Fettinger Leukemia Fund. Next up, and the last knife in the sale, another one from Rough Rider Reserve. Extremely well made Chinese traditional knives, I gotta say. This is the Hedgehog. So it's kind of a 3 7/8 cigar pattern. I believe the covers are satin finished G10 and really nicely finished. The bolsters appear to be stainless steel, but I think the shield is nickel silver, kind of thing. It is an equal end, opposite end jackknife with a main clip point. Look at that saber ground clip with the swedge. Match striker nail neck. Pull weight about a 7, 7.5. Secondary Warncliffe, another big gorgeous swedge. Another match striker nail neck. Blade steel's D2. These knives are assembled with phosphor bronze washers in the pivots. And this knife actually uses an internal stop pin instead of a kick for locating the blades into the handle when it's closed. But everything is gorgeous, guys. These are super well made for the money. This knife is available at your favorite retailer for $60 online. This one, like new in the box, shipped priority mail, $50. $50 like it is $75. I sharpen both blades. And the proceeds, and all proceeds net after postage, go to benefit the Osfettinger Leukemia Fund. That is the Rough Rider Reserve Hedgehog. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of another knife sale on the Apostle P channel. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. Have at her, boys.